At 7 years old, a blank panel suddenly appeared in my head. At first, I thought it was some kind of cheat code, but no matter what I tried, I couldn't activate it. It wasn't until I got into college that it finally reacted to the books in our university library. A list of thousands of books appeared, covering all kinds of fields. At first, I was ready to give up when I saw that many books. But then I found out that if I went 3 days without reading, I'd lose my voice and go mute. So I had no choice but to spend all 4 years of college reading every last one of them. And after that, the panel in my head just vanished out of thin air. It stayed gone right up until graduation, when my 3 idiot roommates and I finished our farewell dinner and walked out of the restaurant feeling like something was off. It was pouring, but when the rain hit us, it didn't feel bad at all. It sobered us up and actually felt weirdly good. What was even stranger was that the panel that had disappeared suddenly came back, and this time it only showed 3 words: go outside. What kind of force could make the panel activate again? I knew right away this was a big deal, so I told the other 3, Chen Yi, Yuliang, Zhou, we need to stand in the hardest rain we can find and stay there till it stops. They all stared at me like I was crazy. Bro, you're kidding, right? Yeah, the rain feels good, but we can't just stand here getting soaked the whole time. But when they saw how serious I was, they stopped arguing and treated it like one last crazy thing to do before graduation. The rain kept going, from midnight all the way to 6 the next morning. Normally, after 6 hours in the rain, we should have been exhausted, freezing, and miserable. But somehow we felt more awake than ever. Just as we were about to head back, I noticed something off about the trees by the road. The trunks that had been withered the night before had sprouted a bunch of new leaves overnight. Then Xiao Yuliang suddenly shouted, "Guys, I found something! It rained all over the world last night, even in the desert and the Arctic." The second I heard that, Chen Yi and I reacted immediately. We need to hit the supermarket. All these weird signs together probably mean something huge is coming, and we need to stock up before everyone else catches on. If we're wrong, worst case, we just spend a few extra years eating through it. If we're right, this is our ticket to surviving. And on the way back with all the supplies, we noticed something weird again. Xiao Yuliang, who used to be sickly and weak, was carrying a 90-pound water jug like it was nothing. And the other 3 of us were hauling over 200 pounds of food each without breaking a sweat. That was obviously a buff from the rain, and after that we hauled everything back to the dorm. But if this really was the apocalypse, it still wasn't enough. So for the next 4 hours, we spent every dollar we had. Still, staring at a dorm room packed wall to wall with supplies, the 3 of them started doubting it again. Bro, are you sure? We basically cleaned ourselves out this time. I kept looking out the window. Look, the lawn was just cut yesterday, and now the grass is up to our thighs. Even the bugs in it are 2 or 3 times bigger. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life? The 3 of them looked at each other, then shook their heads. Nobody said anything else. After that, I told them to call home and have their families stock up too. Sure enough, in less than half a day, people all over the world started realizing something was wrong. Stores and convenience shops were getting cleaned out, and plenty of people who got caught in the rain noticed changes in their bodies. But since it happened in the Dragon Nation in the middle of the night, not that many people there got exposed. But what nobody expected was that 18 hours after the first rain, another torrential downpour hit the entire world. This one felt awful. It stung when it hit your skin. The rain even smelled faintly rotten. And worst of all, the panel in my head didn't react at all. So I rushed my 3 roommates back to the dorm and told them to warn their families not to go out in that rain. Chen Yi even wanted to go bring other students back, but I grabbed his wrist. It's useless. Nobody's gonna trust us. Besides, the second they realized we'd been stockpiling supplies, we were already getting isolated. And I was only guessing anyway. If I was wrong, they'd just end up hating us. Not long after that, all our phones got a push alert from the Dragon Nation authorities telling people to get out of the rain immediately. The school loudspeakers repeated the message, but a lot of people ignored it, thinking it was just the government trying to keep them from getting stronger. At 5 a.m., I woke up and reached for the light, but the power was out, and outside was pitch black. After breakfast, the sky slowly started to brighten, and only then did we finally see what was outside. The beautiful campus had turned into a wasteland overnight. Almost all the plants were dead, the metal fences were corroded, and worst of all, there were bodies in the standing water, rotted down to the bone. Seeing our classmates turned into that overnight left the 4 of us speechless for a long time, but deep down, we all knew it now. The apocalypse had really arrived. While we were still trying to process it, the rain on day 3 came right on schedule. This time, hardly anyone dared step into it, but the second I touched it, I could tell it felt a lot like the first rain, just not exactly the same. I couldn't put my finger on it, but I still dragged the other 3 out into the rain with me. The other students didn't dare move. They were waiting for an official answer. But because the second rain had corroded most of the communication lines, they had to wait nearly 2 hours before any message got through. Dear citizens, enter the rain immediately. If you feel unwell, leave at once. That was the exact official announcement. It was short and blunt, which probably meant even the people at the top had realized humanity was facing a threat like never before and needed every last person it could get. And right then, standing in the rain, I noticed something else strange. The bare lawn was turning green at an incredible speed, and the insects that survived the second rain had grown dozens of times larger. Off in the distance, one toad had already grown to half the height of a person. Strangely enough, humans didn't show the same kind of change in this rain. It wasn't until we got back to the dorm that the difference finally became clear. If the first rain was enhancement, and the second was selection, then the third one brought powers. Chen Yi raised his fist, and a heavy force burst out of him, quickly taking shape into a chest-high wall of earth in front of him, like a solid shield. Then Zhou opened his palm, and a strange stream of water poured out continuously. Under his control, it moved through the air like a living python. Zhao Yuliang's ability was a little different. According to him, it was some kind of contract power, but since he didn't have a suitable target yet, he couldn't show it off. As for me, it felt like I'd gotten 2.5 powers.